Well, greetings, nerds! I am Jay, your host, and with me, my stalwart companion, Chris. You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada. But first, you are just in time for the Just Us Nerds podcast.
In a world where two nerds come together to talk about all things nerdy, Just Us Nerds podcast was born. We talk about comics, movies, and all things in between. Get ready to have your mind blown by the most amazing podcast ever recorded anywhere, ever. The Just Us Nerds podcast. Aw, yeah.
All right, so I'm not going to waste any time because we got a bunch of stuff to talk about.
I'm really excited for this show. We've got so much to talk about, so much great stuff.
So here we are. We're a week after MegaCon 2016.
Yeah.
So we're going to just start the show off by talking about that. I had a great time. Chris?
Every year, this is what I plan my year around. Absolutely wonderful. I had so much fun.
As my brother Lando calls it, it is Nerd Christmas.
Yeah, it's Nerd Christmas, Halloween, New Year's, all the parties wrapped up into one for me.
So if you are not in the Central Florida area, maybe we could do an explanation about what MegaCon is.
As you guys know, this is the biggest comic book convention in the Orlando area. So they sold out the Orange County Convention Center, which I think on one day held 15 to 20,000 people.
And it's just a time for people that love science fiction and comic books to gather together and meet celebrities. And we have a great story that you're going to share with us later about a celebrity encounter that you had. Artists are there. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of just merchandise and things that
bunch of vendors. A lot of Q&As, which is awesome. A lot of artists, like you said, like actual famous comic book artists and writers will actually sit down and take questions from people and try to answer to the best of their ability. And
very personable people like Ed McGuinness.
Yeah, Ed McGuinness wasn't there, and I was very happy he wasn't there. You're still on notice, Ed McGuinness.
Ed, I have nothing against you. I've never met you, but Chris apparently still is holding a grudge.
You are still on notice, sir.
Let's talk a little bit about the cosplays. That for me, that is, I don't even go inside sometimes. I just hang out on the periphery just to take pictures. Every year, I am impressed by these cosplays.
Yeah,
beautiful.
You can actually see a bunch of the cosplays that we saw on our Facebook page.
Yeah, and when I do the YouTube video, I'll put some pictures to go along with some of the things we're talking about to give a reference. Chris, some of your favorite cosplays that you saw?
There was a Hawk Girl that I saw. She tells me that she was slacking off, but her wings were each individually made by a polyurethane foam. I mean, just carved and detailed, just absolutely beautiful. I couldn't believe how much time it actually took to do that. I saw a lot of retros. They did like a lot of steampunks, like a steampunk Green Lantern where he had the lanterns on his shoulders and it lit up.
That's very popular, the steampunk thing. Is this I was just pulling up pictures.
That's her.
Is that the Hawk Girl?
That's her.
Oh, okay. All right. This was sort of like it felt like a sort of a throwback, like a 1930s Hawk Girl. Okay, so I'll make sure that I put that picture up.
Yeah.
I like your picture even better than the one I took. Absolutely. So I'm sorry I interrupted you. You were talking about another cosplay.
Let's see. Another one for me was there was a Bane there, and this Bane, the guy was actually, I want to say, a power lifter. I mean, he was like 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, he looks like he could crush
almost
you.
300 pounds, and I'm not a short guy by any means.
No,
and this guy dwarfed me.
Yeah. This guy was a meat train, definitely.
Whoa, freezing.
All right. And any other cosplays that stand out to you that you really enjoyed?
There were these really two good-looking Batmen that were there. One of them was like a Michael Keaton style Batman.
Michael Keaton. The other one was sort of an Arkham. I think I saw that one.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Very well dressed Batman. One of them sort of normal size, and the other one sort of fun size.
Fun size, like a Lego Batman.
Sort of like like a Lego Batman. I believe I did see those two gentlemen there.
Yeah.
I saw there were this trio of ladies dressed up as Robins.
Oh yeah,
and they were awesome. One of them was the Red Hood, one of them was Nightwing, and one of them was Damian Wayne Robin. And these ladies, I should say. Their costumes were just spot on. I'll make sure I put that up on the
surprisingly not. I saw a lot of 1966 Robins there. I guess Burt Ward's actually there. So was Adam West, but there were a lot of what I like to call flim flam Robins.
Flim flam.
Flim flam. But those guys were out and about. I'm like, holy crap, they're in stockings. But on
the YouTube and Facebook page, I feel like we need to post a link to that YouTube video where Flim Flam comes from, so people will know what you're talking about.
I want to talk about my favorite.
Yeah.
So it's one of my favorite lines in one of my all-time favorite movies. He plays the black space ball when he's telling him to comb the desert, and he keeps asking them all, and he says,
"Found anything yet?"
"No, sir, we haven't found anything. How about you?" "No, sir, not anything yet." And then they look, and each of them have these giant combs, and then there's these two black guys, and they have a giant afro pick. He goes, "What about you?" And the man puts it down, and he looks at me and goes, "We ain't found shit." So this was the black space ball, and he actually has the giant asterisk, or the bubble, the comic bubble, and it says, "We ain't found shit," and he actually has a little little pick in his hand.
That was hilarious.
It was awesome, and he was really cool.
That was really good. Oh my god, I saw like the most gorgeous Wonder Woman. She did look slightly on the pregnant side, but she was absolutely beautiful.
And there was this awesome Catwoman.
Oh my god, totally, two ridiculously hot women.
All right, I'm gonna. I hate butting in, but you know how I'm a huge Rocketeer fan.
I do.
And I found this family who is raising their child right.
Good values.
It was a 4-year-old little girl dressed as the Rocketeer.
Aww.
She had Cliff Secord's
justice.
She had Cliff Secord's jacket on, this gold little dress, little skirt, these high tan boots, and then they actually made a helmet her size,
right,
and a jetpack her size. And the jetpack had the gum from when in the movie when it gets shot.
Yeah.
And he puts the gum on it.
Yeah.
And what's funny is also the mom pulls out a pack of gum, and it was the Bee Gees gum.
Oh my god.
And and the little girl was just so happy that a Batman wanted to take a photo with her.
That is adorable.
I couldn't help that. Yeah.
So you're right. Those people, they are raising their child right. Yep. Her whole college fund may have gone into that costume. However, she's going to have some. Oh my God, Chris is showing me an awesome picture of a Judge Dredd cosplay. That's
the
incredible.
Carl Urban, the good Judge Dredd, not the Stallone codpiece.
It always amazes me the amount of time and effort people put into their costumes. And this kind of will lead into something else I want to talk about.
That was like the Mr. Freeze. The Mr. Freeze that I had. The guy actually put dry ice up around his head. And so that way when he stood there, it actually, the smoke would come out like the machine was keeping him cool.
That is incredible.
So, stuff like that. It's the little things.
What I was going to say was one of the things I think I love so much about MegaCon is here you have all of these people from all of these different
walks of life,
where they're at too, genders, generationally speaking.
There were people from Canada I was talking with.
All coming together for their celebration of this kind of, I'll call it this thing that we all love. I mean, whether that be
this giant monster we call comics,
this monolith of well, even expanded beyond comics.
Oh yeah, because it's fantasy,
science fiction, fantasy, and we're all there. We're all celebrating something that we love. and it's all in this very non-judgmental way. It's like, oh, you like the Rocketeer? That's cool. Good for you. Oh, you like Batman? That's cool. Good for you.
And people were happy to see it. Like, they would see, oh, look, it's a Batman. Oh, look, it's Captain America. Oh, look, it's Daredevil. And they wanted, to come over, say hi. And what was cool for me was people, with the Batman costume, people, would walk up to you. And, I was telling people this. It's another thing when you actually cosplay, because I don't know about you, but you kind of feel like you're responsible for the character. Like, what I mean by is, people are like, oh, look, can I get a photo with Batman? I'm like, yeah, well, of course but you want to hold the right morals. You want to make sure you talk right. You want to make sure that, because you kind of embody that spirit of that character. So these people were just dead on.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I joke all the time, but I'm not joking really when I say that anytime I've been able to cosplay for that moment, I mean, for those brief, hours, you are that character. Yeah. I mean, that's how I feel. I mean, for that brief moment, we had the fun of actually going to a friend's birthday, yes. his kids, it was his 4th or 5th birthday party, and going as Batman and Nightwing, and
nobody knew who Nightwing was.
No one knew who Nightwing was, but it doesn't matter. It's like for those moments, like for those, I don't even think we were even like,
we were there for an hour.
We were there for maybe an hour, but for that hour, we were Batman and Nightwing, yes. And it's such a good feeling, and I'll flip that too. When you go to one of these conventions, it's like when you get a picture with someone dressed up as Superman, especially if it's a really good cosplay.
Like that one, there's that one really good Superman. Anyway, keep talking.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, it's not like it doesn't feel to me like I'm getting my picture taken with just some, stranger. It's like in that moment, I'm getting my picture taken with Superman.
It's kind of like Santa Claus.
It is. It's yes, yeah, that's it. We'll make sure we put him up. He was a really good sport. He agreed to let me punch him out while holding a piece of kryptonite. Actually,
what was funny was, I told him, I was like, oh yeah, a friend of mine's walking around kryptonite, and he actually says, he goes, I met that Batman.
He was like, oh man, why does everyone keep doing that?
He's like, he goes, oh, not again.
Buddy, listen, Clark, if you're out there, thank you very much for being a good sport. We're still friends. Both of our moms' names are Martha. We're cool.
Martha.
All right, so, with the remaining time that we had set aside for MegaCon, I was hoping you could share a little bit about an experience you had.
Every year for MegaCon, I always try to take a look at the guest list and, try to determine who. I always try to get an autograph or at least a photograph with them, saying, I want to meet these people. It's kind of crossing things off my bucket list. Like last year, I got to meet the immortal Hulk Hogan. I mean, that was something I've wanted to do. I wanted to do that since I was like 4 years old. And what was even better was it was my birthday week. So he wished me a happy birthday. And then also he goes, well, what are we going to do? And I'm like, well, I don't know. And he's like, well, let's flex. I mean, so there I am flexing with Hulk Hogan.
Didn't you say he was like, throw it up there,
brother? That's what he said. He's like, throw it up. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So we get there on...
well, can you give people an idea of who you had to choose from?
Oh yeah,
I think that kind of makes a difference.
This was the biggest event. It was their 50th or 75th anniversary, and there was the likes of Adam West, Burt Ward, George Takei, William Shatner, Jason David Frank from the Power Rangers, Billy Piper from Doctor Who.
Haley Atwell, I think.
Haley Atwell was there. John Barathol, the Punisher, was there.
Cool. And Shane.
And Shane. And, just all of these great actors. But for me, originally, I wanted to meet Adam West and Burt Ward. Mm-hmm. But things were a little pricey and everything like that. And it's like, well, maybe we'll see. But we get there on Friday. And we got to walk around the convention center, and I look around, and I look on the guest list, and who's doing a Q&A but the one and only, the great Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy, who voiced Batman on the Paul Dini Batman animated series, and then the Justice League, and many, many, many things after that.
Who's now doing The Killing Joke.
Right.
I mean, anytime
for many people, the definitive Batman. Even among like the likes of Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck. Yeah.
And let me tell you, what's fun about him is he steps out, and the first thing out of his mouth is the line. He's like, "I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman."
He said that
first thing right off the gate. And of course, it's a nerd pop. We all start cheering and laughing.
Mic drop.
So, but he refused to sit down the entire time. He walked around and he's talking with everybody, and they got to do a Q&A. And he listened to everybody's questions, and he was willing to give them a minute. And every time, like, a nerd would be like, "Thank you for all that you've done for us," he acknowledged. And he's like, "Well, you guys are the reason I'm here, thank you." He loved his fans, absolutely loved his fans. So it was that moment.
You mentioned he was sitting. I think I want to, for people that don't go to a lot of conventions, I feel
normally,
like I need to point out.
Okay, normal people sit behind a table, or they'll sit down and they're just relaxing the entire time, and they're not really doing anything. He was up and animated and moving his hands and talking and telling stories.
To be there.
He was so excited to be there. And it was at that moment that I decided. I leaned over to Jen and I said, "I'm meeting that man." And so we found out where his autograph booth was that day, but he wasn't there at the time because he had just finished. So I was like, okay. I knew what our schedule was like. I go on Sunday, I'm going to meet him. So Saturday we actually go around and I found a 1992 Batman the Animated Series comic book. And I was like, you know what? This is what he's signing. I love it. I loved the cover. It has Batman swinging in on Catwoman. Jen and I were dressing as Batman and Catwoman, so we thought it was, kind of fitting.
Sure.
So Sunday, I get there a little late for me, like 10:30, 11. And I said, you know what? I said, let's go see what his booth's like. I know it's probably got a huge long line. I walk up, there's maybe 4 people in line. Okay?
Really?
And now you gotta understand, when everybody does their autographs, they're normally behind their table. They're normally, it's like this high podium. They kind of put them on a riser stage, and they put people behind, and then they sit behind there, and you gotta pay some odd dollars for an autograph, some odd dollars for a photograph.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I stood in line. I said, okay, I'm only going to get the autograph, whatever. One of the people who were working for MegaCon walks up and he goes, "Hey, did you catch his Q&A and everything?" I go, yeah, I really did. And he goes, okay. He goes, "I can see, he goes, so you're excited?" I go, yeah, I am. He goes, okay, well, just to let you know, he goes, "You're paying $40 for the autograph," which I knew. That's normally what they do. They try to let you know how much it is. And I was like, yeah, okay, no problem. He goes, "Well, just to let you know, since you're paying for that, he's gonna take photographs with you guys anyway." So we didn't have to pay for photographs right then and there.
Wow.
He wanted to meet us. So I wait through, and I'm, I hate saying it. I'm a grown ass man, but like I still get nervous like meeting these people.
To meet Batman.
I'm like, I'm gonna meet Batman. So finally, and he comes. It's my turn in line. I'm kind of like the kid meeting Santa.
Right.
I give the lady my money, and I get my phone ready so someone take a photo. And I walk up to him, and I start talking to him. And I'm sure he hears a lot of it, but me, I grew up not in the greatest environment in the world, but his show, that was something that really hung on to me. Mm-hmm. So, I thanked him for everything that he did, and I explained to him, the stories and what he did helped me go actually in the career path that I am, in the helping field that I'm in. Mm-hmm. And when I explained to him what I do, he was shocked, and he all of a sudden he was interested, like, not that he wasn't interested before, but now he's even more interested.
It caught his attention, yeah.
So, and by the way, he's not sitting behind the booth. He's standing with everybody, like hugging distance. And I was, a foot away. And
did you have to fight off the urge to hug him?
Actually, he hugged me. So, yeah, he hugged me.
Oh,
so,
man.
But, and I told him what I did. And, and he signs the comic book for me. And he goes, "Hold on a second." And he turns and walks away from me towards his table. And I'm like, well, I don't know what he's doing. And he comes back. And he told me, to have a great time, and what I do for my profession. He goes, "You're not paying."
Oh,
And he
wow.
shakes my hand, and while shaking my hand, he puts the $40 back in my hand.
Wow.
And
What a sweet guy.
the guy actually embodies that spirit of Batman. He really does. Like, he looks
Beautifully.
I
Beautifully.
think not want to be that sappy guy, but I think that's the stuff that it's worth.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he saved a lot of us.
Absolutely. I mean, with what he's done and what that character means, and really kind of in the same way to play off what you were saying about how you sort of inherit that character for a little bit when you do the cosplay. These actors and storytellers, we're all stewards in a way of these ideas of these characters and what they represent. And it's really nice when you hear a story about someone who, like Kevin, that really embodies that. So thank you for sharing that.
No, you're welcome.
That was a great story.
Absolutely
I am
great
jealous
weekend.
as hell of you, but you know what? I'm really happy for you.
Thanks, man.
All right, so let's move on to our What'd You Read This Week
Yes,
section.
let's start, man. I'm excited.
Yeah. So big event happened this week. We saw the release of DC Rebirth and several other of the Rebirth titles.
Okay, now I know we've joked on this show before saying, "Don't do a reboot, don't do a reboot." Yeah, I like this one.
But it's not a reboot, and
No.
I think as we talk about it, we're going to see it's not really a reboot. So for today's show, we're going to be talking about the issue one. So it's a one-shot DC Rebirth. Next show, we're going to be talking more about the individual titles. This discussion is going to contain spoilers, so if you have not read this issue, you may want to skip ahead. Okay, so the issue in question is DC Rebirth #1. It's written by Jeff Johns.
Of course.
And it's just three different...
That's the DC, that's the DC battleship right there.
Oh my God, yeah, he is. He's definitely the the keystone there.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah.
And then illustrated by three different artists: Gary Frank, Ethan Van Sciver. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and then Phil Jimenez. This retails for about $2.99 for an 80-page comic book.
So $3 for 80 pages.
Yeah. So the plot of this is this is the issue to start off the DC event Rebirth, or as I like to refer to it, the new 52.
Yeah.
So it's a one and done that focuses on the casualties of DC's new 52 Rebirth. Reboot, not Rebirth. See,
Not Rebirth.
Oh my God, not
Come on,
Rebirth.
Bert. No, Bert. Okay, Bert. It's okay, Bert.
It's a DC Rebirth. Okay.
No. So one of the casualties of the DC's reboot, the new 52, were this issue's following around Wally West, who was one of the casualties.
KF.
This story, KF, Kid Flash, absolutely. Also later became the Flash. He was the third Flash.
Yep.
So we find out at this point that since the new 52 happened, that Wally's basically been trapped in the
And they all
Speed
thought
Force.
he died.
Well, no, he never, in the new 52 universe,
He never existed.
He never
That's right.
existed.
That's right.
He never existed.
They had Impulse, but they never.
Well, I don't even think Impulse was a thing in the New 52. It was always Barry Allen had always been the Flash.
That might have been it.
When you had one of the things that this issue sort of critiques is that in the New 52 they basically did away with all of the legacy characters. They did away with all of the apprentices and all the people who inherited the mantles.
Except Robin.
Except for Robin and Nightwing. So we find out
Superboy.
And Superboy. We find out that
And Red Arrow.
Well, yeah, but see, all of these characters.
Hey, you keep asking. I'm throwing.
They're there, but they're not. They have no connection to their mentors. So let me get through the plot summary, and then we can get to some of this other stuff you're talking about. But so Wally's been trapped in the Speed Force, which is sort of this extra dimensional energy field that all of the Flashes derive their powers from.
Yeah, it's like their version of the Force.
It's like the Force, exactly. It's like the Force from Star Wars. And so while kind of trapped in the Speed Force, all he can really do is observe what's been happening, and with the knowledge that eventually his consciousness is going to discorporate, and he's just going to become part of the Speed Force.
He's literally going to break down to goo and just gone.
Yeah, just no more. So the story, we witness his attempts to make contact with people
in his life.
That he knew in his former life, to warn them that an enemy of great power has tampered with time and effectively has stolen 10 years from the DC universe.
Was it Biff?
Oh, might have been. He got the almanac. He got Doc Brown's time machine. Biff stole the time machine, went back to 1955, and now your parents won't meet. No, that's completely wrong. I'm even getting the explanation wrong. No, it wasn't Biff.
Sorry.
But good reference.
I had to ask.
So when you get to the end of this comic, I mean, it is one whopper of a reveal.
Yeah, like all of a sudden
it's
the bad guy. Hit. Well, even still with Kid Flash, all of a sudden, he's using his energy to try and come out. He's kind of like one of the ghosts out of like A Christmas Carol. He's like trying to talk to them, and they're like,
he's trying to warn them, and they don't know him.
They're like, get the hell away from me, you creepy little bastard.
They don't know him. They don't know who he is. And so, the end of this story, I think, is probably, it's going to sure to be one of the most controversial story arcs of all time. We'll get into that in a moment. Let's start just first with the pros. I'm going to, let's each talk about what we liked about it. Right off the bat, it's a great value. I mean, this is the early bird special of comic books.
I love that you're like, you went,
senior citizen reference?
Yeah, well, not even just that. You're like, oh, I get 80 pages for $3.
That's like 3 cents a page.
Do you remember when I used to buy groceries for $3? And all of a sudden you're like all excited and you're like remembering the good old days.
You're not a fan of great value?
I buy comics for what they're worth, sir.
Yeah. I mean, you get $2.99 for an 80-page comic book.
This is great.
I mean, and it's not just an 80-page comic book. It's a great 80-page comic book. Beautiful artwork from all 3 artists. Now, normally I know when I start by talking about how it's got great art, it's because the comic sucks.
Drops down. Remember what we say? There are beautiful comics. They're like I like to compare them to some people on the earth. Either they're really pretty and just nothing to talk with, or it's the other way around.
They're really interesting, or just
my God. You very rarely, I think we were lucky, very rarely you find that middle road where they're both good looking and someone to talk to.
We're at a happy medium, I feel, Chris. The story with this is terrific. I mean, this is some of the best self-referential storytelling I've read in a comic book in a long time. I mean, Jeff Johns he's writing this very eloquent love letter to the classic DC universe.
And you see it, like he loves throwing these little flares like left and right. You're like, look at this, look at this, look at this.
Referencing the old Teen Titans, referencing the Crisis on Infinite Earths event, referencing the Justice Society, things that have been, since the New 52 happened, have been gone. Right. I mean, they don't exist. It's this very eloquent love letter, but at the same time, it's a critique. It's a critique of some of the changes that DC made, and basically kind of them saying, look, we screwed up, and we're sorry, and we're gonna bring back.
By the way, I still am freaking out that Ted Kord's alive.
Oh, I love that. I
so
love that.
For me, I saw that, I lost my mind because he's been dead for years. Well, and then they brought him back, and now I don't know.
Well, I mean, in the pre-52 universe, he had died, and then in this new 52 universe, I think we've had mentions of him, but we've never seen him.
We've had Jaime Reyes, which is the alien Blue Beetle. Yeah. This isn't Jaime, and he's with Jaime now.
I love that they've paired them up as sort of a mentor-mentee.
Because
sort of
the thing is that was the thing with Jaime Reyes is he never knew Ted Kord. He never knew Ted, so now they're able to build on that. I was like, oh, look it.
I've been reading a lot of articles about what Johns was aiming to do with this whole Rebirth thing, and he's talking about restoring a sense of legacy, restoring the relationships between characters.
Damien's almost alone at his birthday party.
I find it funny that Damian Wayne would even have like a cake
with
frosting.
There's a knife involved.
Yeah, you'd think for his birthday, Damian Wayne would probably do something like, I don't know, kill a bunch of assassins or something.
Whatever.
Like that,
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the comic and I'm just pointing out little things that I like.
But so I think that it's very clever of Johns to have a quote-unquote deleted character as the protagonist of this story.
Yeah.
And in doing so, I think he's able to tap into the emotions of all of us long-standing comic book fans who felt kind of slighted by having so many years of continuity and character development just wiped away by the New 52. So that's very clever.
One of my favorite flashes is the relationship between Green Arrow.
Flashes. I see what you did there.
Is the relationship with Green Arrow and Black Canary.
Yeah.
And what's cool is they actually put them back in their New 52 costumes, and then they will, they're
going to change into redesigns,
but they're not together. They're not married. They don't have a child. They don't.
Another one of the things that got wiped away by the New 52.
What's kind of neat is it even says, but when their eyes meet, they fell a spark that neither one of them can explain. So it's like that alternate dimension. Something happened, but they
know that something is missing.
Yes.
They know that something happened, that something is missing.
Yes.
Oh, if only Spider-Man existed in the DC universe, then maybe finally we could get that horrible one more day thing
Here's
reversed.
another thing. Aquaman's not married to Mira.
Not married to Mira. Had been married to Mira in the pre-50. Here's the thing I don't like, and this is actually I'm gonna save this for our next episode when we talk about how to save comic books.
Yeah.
This idea that somehow if you have comic book characters be married, have children, do the things that most normal human beings do as they get older, that having that is in some way dangerous for the character,
a hindrance,
a hindrance.
Yeah.
And Jeff Johns is saying no, it's those relationships. It's what makes these characters more human, more relatable. Oh yeah, we're gonna get.
We have to talk about this.
That's a favorite moment. We're gonna get to that. So, were there other things that you liked about this comic?
Like I said, I love the flow. I loved that it leaves no stone unturned. I mean, it checks with every single character on what they're doing.
Yeah.
And no wonder it's 80 pages.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, you find out what each of the Teen Titans are doing. You find out, what Captain Marvel is doing. You find out, they have this big giant battle scene. And you look, I remember, I stared at this page. There's this giant page where
it was after the death of Superman.
The death of Superman. But you see all these heroes, and I'm looking, and I'm like, ooh, who's that? Ooh, who's that? Ooh, who's that?
Yeah,
ooh,
absolutely.
What are they doing here? Oh, look at who's this? And I loved it. Like,
it's definitely a beautiful artwork.
It was just really cool to see. It also shows, that them all coming together. I mean, there's Teen Titans here. There's, everybody that was involved.
Again, Johns has said that he's really looking to restore that sense of relationships between characters, and that's part of what makes them great.
Nope, I agree.
And I'm so glad to see him doing that. Let's talk about the big reveal at the end, because this is another one of my great things about one of the things I really liked about this comic.
Yeah.
You can't get any more meta, I think, than having the big reveal that the enemy that Wally's referring to
is the most powerful person in the universe
ever is none other than, drumroll, Watchman's Dr. Manhattan. I just think this is.
He's wearing underwear this time, though, right?
I don't know. Maybe he's gonna be. I don't know. Maybe he's gonna be butt-ass
please,
naked.
Jeff Johns, please put him in underwear.
Have like a censored bar over him. I mean, let's just talk about, first of all, just from what a creative standpoint, how amazing this is. So the big problem with comic books, from my opinion, has been that when you have the successes of things like Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen, where dark, gritty portrayals of these characters. Not that those were bad things in it of themselves, the stories. I think the bad thing that happened was everyone then thought that in order to make a comic book character successful, they all have to be dark and gritty.
Yeah.
And I think it's been one of the things that's been really taking away from my enjoyment of certain comic books. So how great is it that you would have Dr. Manhattan, a character out of the story that started that trend, be your villain?
Well,
I just think it's brilliant.
What I also think is kind of neat was, it's funny, as soon as I saw the images of Mars and everything like that, I started hearing the pipe music from the movie.
Yeah.
But for me, you talk
about the first page when all the focusing
the
on the clocks.
And that's his watch. And it stopped.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, for me, it was you know, in the movie they talk about, and even in the comics, they talk about how he's losing his grip with humanity.
Right.
So I wonder if this is involved where he's just like, Remember, he says he doesn't perceive time. He travels through time like people travel through, like, a house.
Well, yeah, and he really started to lose his connection to a sense of, when you have that kind of power, you lose your sense of, your connection to humanity. But I remember, though, if you remember at the end of the story of Watchmen, he tells Adrian Veidt, that he's leaving the world to that world to go to one a little less complicated,
yep.
and
he creates his own.
And he's thinking, I might create life. I know I'm misrepresenting that, but and what a great way to provide an epilogue for that character is that maybe that life that he created, I don't know, maybe it was the DC universe, maybe it was
the New 52,
maybe the New 52. I don't know, but Alan Moore, I'm sure, is going to hate this.
Do you know what I think with this? It reminds me of the episode of Futurama where there is a giant gas cloud and he gives all the Star Trek guys back their bodies and he wants them to act out. It's like these are his personal action figures.
Exactly.
And he's in the tub and he's like, look at me! And he's just smashing them together.
Exactly. But now we got the Watchmen figures now playing with the DC figures.
That's what I'm excited about.
Really excited
this is
about
the
that.
first time. But you know what this did? When I saw this made me go, ooh, I want to read what's next. I want to see what's next.
I'm very excited.
I want to see what's going on.
I'm very excited for this. Absolutely. This intrigues me.
Yeah.
This could be the best move they've ever made. It could be a horrible, horrible train wreck. Either way, I want to read more. And so, Mr. John, sir, you accomplished it. The bad or the cons of this, I honestly cannot find anything I didn't like about this book.
Go
ahead.
I don't. Maybe if they give a little bit more, they explain, Linda, who is KF's wife, girlfriend, whatever.
Oh, Linda Park, yeah.
They didn't really give a lot of her background and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm not, a big Kid Flash aficionado.
Right.
So I was like, apparently this is his chick. I don't know who she is. I don't know.
It would definitely mean a lot more to someone if they were a Flash, had been reading the Flash for many years, because Wally West was Kid Flash for a while, but then he inherits the mantle of Flash from Barry Allen,
right,
and was the Flash for many years. Got married, had 2 kids. So maybe if you're not as familiar with the DC universe, you may get a little lost reading it.
But
a lot lost.
Not terrible, because I still consider myself pretty fluent in Flash.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that was just one character. I was like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah. So I hear you. Favorite moment in this, and I have a feeling we have the same moment in mind.
You go ahead and explain.
So in the story, Wally's been trying to connect with all of these people, and the way that, so basically he's like a ghost, basically.
Yeah.
People can't see him, and it takes every last bit of his will and energy.
I was just going to say that,
to manifest himself in front of
for him
people.
to appear, to come through, and he's trying to talk to them, and he can only talk to them for a certain amount of time before that kind of ripped back. Gate is closed, and he's just ripped away, and it's terrifying. You actually see him start to melt away. And
there's a great sort of, the first person he tries to contact is Batman, and it's kind of a nice Crisis on Infinite Earths callback, because the same thing kind of happened between Barry and Batman. But
let's go through, who does he each try to contact? He contacts Batman.
He first tries to contact Batman,
and he talks about the letter from Flashpoint.
Right. The letter from his father, Thomas Wayne,
who was Batman in Flashpoint.
That was given to Barry. The next person he tries to contact is Johnny Thunder. Did you know who that was?
I thought it was just a member of the Justice Society.
He was a member of the Justice Society, Johnny Thunder. And this probably would have been my second choice for favorite moment. It's this great scene when Wally's telling... So Johnny Thunder is this member of the Justice Society that now no longer exists because of the New 52. And
barely existed now.
So he's telling Johnny... try to find the Justice Society, try to find them, and Johnny Thunders, he's in a retirement home, he's an old man, and there's this moment where he's weeping, and he's just like, that's all I've been trying to do, I've been trying to find them, and then Wally disappears just as the orderlies come in and drag him away,
him crazy,
and and Johnny's screaming out, his power sort of thing was he had this genie that was, oh God, I can't remember the name of Thunderbolt was the name of the genie. And so they're dragging him away, and he's screaming.
That's why he's screaming Thunderbolt.
Say you, Thunderbolt. He's trying to call the genie back, and it is such an emotional moment.
So instead of him being a superhero, he's just this crazy old man in a ward.
It's so sad, and it's like, it's a great metaphor for saying this is what is happening to some of our old comics is that they're by doing these things like the New 52 where we cast away the continuity, we're losing something.
No, and we're losing great characters, and that's the thing. Like, the Sandman, Dr. Midnight, all of them who are actual members of the Justice League as well, but they're no longer like there.
And you can tell interesting stories with them. The next person he tries to contact, as you mentioned, Linda Park, so his wife. And like there's a moment where she's looking at him, and it kind of looks like she's gonna remember who he is, and then she's like, "I don't know you," and then that's just again dagger in the heart,
tears him apart
in the heart.
All right, so
so the last person that I think that he contacts.
No, it is.
Oh no, because it shows him brief
because to Captain Boomerang, to Vic Stone,
Cyborg,
and then Dick Grayson,
Nightwing, and you see, look, he's pulling out the Nightwing.
But the thing
costume.
is that was his best friend.
Yeah,
when he's trying, look, two members of the Teen Titans, he's trying to get a hold of,
and no one remembers him, and he's just about to give up. He's about to. Well,
here's the thing: he says he doesn't have enough power left. He has one left. If this person does not remember him, he is going to cease to exist.
Yeah.
No longer
his
exists.
Consciousness will just dissolve, and he will become one with the Speed Force.
Yeah. And
so
that person is
Barry Allen, the Flash, his mentor.
The one and only Barry Allen.
But not just his mentor. There's a great part at the beginning of this story where he talks about how what a difference his uncle made in his life. How he grew up in a home with a mother and a father that didn't pay much attention to him, and so that you really have earned it by the time you get to this moment where Flash looks at him
and he has no idea who he is for that moment, and then all of a sudden,
Wally. Yep. He just whispers the word Wally, and then he grabs Wally before he disappears,
yanks him out,
and then there's this moment where they hug, and he's like, "How could I ever forget you?"
Yeah.
And
so now we have a Wally West, and I don't know if you've seen his new costume. His new costume, he's not in the yellow and red anymore. He's now in a Flash costume, but it's got the cutoff with his hair.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So I'm excited to see that.
I really enjoyed reading this book. I can't wait to see what happens next. I know we're running a little short for time, so maybe we could maybe save this for another show, and then we'll just do about 5 minutes of movie talk.
Yeah, it's good with me. Let's go.
All right, great. So just into our movie talk section, a couple rapid fire things I wanted to get your reaction.
Yeah.
X-Men Apocalypse gets 48% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Not surprised.
Why didn't this surprise you?
Because Apocalypse looks like Ivan Ooze from the Power Rangers movie.
All right, fair enough. All right. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadow premiered this weekend, already has a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. Your reaction?
That's already better than what you thought it was going to be.
It is?
Yeah.
What did I think it was? I don't even remember saying what I was going to be.
Could it possibly be in the negatives?
I don't know.
It's going to be a great flick for kids, and it's going to sell toys. That's their job.
Still better than...
They have a giant garbage truck that throws manhole covers. How can you be upset?
I suppose.
Anyway.
All right. Brie Larson in early talks to play Captain Marvel.
I like it. I think she's pretty. I think but she's also that standalone character. I think she'll do really well.
She's a great actress.
Yep.
Absolutely. Batman v Superman Extended Edition trailer reaction. I don't know if did you see the Extended Edition
I didn't,
trailer?
But it's not going to change your opinion about this movie.
I just thought I no longer need to buy the movie because I can just put on the best scenes in this handy dandy trailer.
Nah, you're good.
Okay.
You're still not going to own it.
Wow, we blew through that a lot faster than I thought. Okay, good. We got a little time then just for Toy Box. Real quick.
Toy Box.
There are 3 new Marvel Legend waves that are now available on Big Bad Toy Store.
Man, you guys got to start sending us some money.
I know, right? We plug you guys left and right.
Whoa, phrasing.
So I'm just going to talk briefly about one of the figure sets, and we'll talk about the others on later shows since we're running late for time. So the 8-figure set goes for $159.99. 6-figure set goes for $149.99.
Good God!
But if you think about it, that breaks down to about $20 a figure.
Yeah,
which
but I've always but these are the ones where they'll give you each one, and then it helps you to build
a figure.
And the problem is I'm not spending $160 for a figure.
But if you think about it, depending on how many figures you buy in a given time, you've already spent the money on it.
No.
Well, there's an X-Men wave, a Spider-Man wave, a Captain America Civil War wave. Yep. I'm going to talk about the X-Men wave real fast because I'm really excited about it, and I'll throw a picture of it up on the YouTube page.
On the YouTube.
So the Build-A-Figure is Juggernaut.
Okay.
Which looks really cool.
All right.
I'm
the Juggernaut, bitch.
You don't know who I am. I'm the Juggernaut,
By
bitch.
the way, the worst depiction in a movie ever was by him. However, one of my favorite lines, and his attitude, perfect. Costume, terrible.
Vinnie Jones, I love you, man. You were awesome.
I love you as the Juggernaut. But, like, I hated the costume. He was small.
I hated what they did to you, buddy.
And he's not even a mutant.
No,
he's got a magic gemstone.
But no, actually, you mean in the correct. Yeah. In the comic books, he is not a mutant. They made him a mutant for the movie. They were like, oh, fuck it, we don't want to.
We don't want to explain a magic gemstone.
Ruby thing. Anyhow,
it was an infinity gauntlet or infinity gemstone.
No, actually, I think it was the crimson. It was like a crimson ruby of Sidorak that gives him his powers.
Jesus.
I'm going ultra nerd on you, buddy.
Yeah, you just did.
I'm putting my nerd glasses down.
That really hurt.
Excuse me, I just laid the nerd smackdown on you.
All right.
Okay, so
talk about figures.
I'm really excited about... Talk about your toys.
Talk about your toys,
I'm really excited about this because we get in this wave, we get a new Deadpool figure with a shit ton of accessories.
Another Deadpool.
No, my friend. No, my friend. First of all, I will tell you there have only been about probably 3 decent Deadpool figures that have been released. The Marvel Select one, which is about 7 inches tall, about out of scale for all of the other Marvel Legends figures. You had an early Marvel Legends figure of Deadpool, which if you want now, you could probably get it on eBay for only about $300, because it's so popular. And then there was a Marvel Legends one that came out.
You mean Spider-Man?
No, not Spider-Man.
Costume's the same.
It was very similar.
Anyway,
this Deadpool figure comes with a shit ton of accessories. It looks like what comes a taco or a chimichanga, which is just awesome.
Okay, makes sense.
An alternate head, so you have the unmasked head or
the creepy head.
The creepy head. A bazooka with a boxing glove on the front.
Okay, so now he's Harley Quinn. Cool.
Yeah, a knife and 4 guns.
Cool.
We have Cable. Comes with not many accessories, but a bandolier.
Yeah.
We have a Jim Lee inspired Rogue.
Oh, I like that.
Really excited for that one.
Yeah.
Havoc with power up effects. He's got like the you put on his fists like the kind of the energy.
Oh,
kind of
nice.
Like crackling
I like
energy. Iceman, which is we haven't had
is
a good.
Is he see-through?
I don't think he's... Parts of him, I think, are see-through, but he's a figure looks...
I'm excited for.
I am super excited for... We get a brown costume Wolverine.
That is my favorite costume, Wolverine.
But not only that, we get... he gets alternate hands. So there's one with claws, and then one with the claws sheathed. And you don't... I mean, there has not been a Wolverine figure
now, normally, the brown costume, you know what he always comes with, too?
What?
The katana. It always comes with like a ninja sword.
Always. Yeah, what I think you're thinking about, Chris, is actually it's the Marvel Select figure that they have.
Well, still, but every time I've seen with the brown costume, he always has the sword with him.
I think that's probably because that figure is associated with kind of the Frank Miller years when he was in Japan a lot. So I'm really excited for that. For some reason, I have Iceman on here twice.
Wait, he was really excited for Iceman. Again.
I was so excited for Iceman. I put him on twice. We have Phoenix Jean Grey.
Does she come with the red suit, the green suit? You know, do you know if there's alternates?
I don't know if there's alternates. No, okay. I think I just saw a green suit. And then we have Kitty Pryde.
Okay.
coming in it's kind of like the Astonishing X-Men, like blue and yellow costume.
Does she come with her little dragon?
Comes with her little dragon Lockheed.
Yeah.
And she also comes with a Magneto head that will fit on the Civil War Onslaught Build-A-Figure. So they released in the Civil War, it was a red Onslaught, so it was the red skull as the head for the Onslaught. Now you can swap it for this and get the traditional Magneto. All right, so that's it for Toy Box, and that is it for our show. But there's a couple things that I want to let our listeners know.
This is a big thing for us, guys. We need a call to action to our fans. Even if you're in Bulgaria, book your trips now.
Yeah, because we got some fun coming up. Come join us June 25th at Vieira Comics, where they're going to be celebrating Spider-Verse Day.
That is going to be a fantastic time.
So what they're wanting is just people to come dressed up in in their cosplay for all things from the Spider-Verse. So Spider-Man, Spider-Gwen,
Spider-Pig,
Spider-Pig, Spider-Ham, Miles Morales. Spider-Man. They're
villains. They want everybody.
They're going to have artists there doing free head sketches. Their Make 'em Laugh Films is going to be there putting on a spider show all day long. All Marvel graphic novels, figures, and Pops statues and things will be 10% off. It's going to be a good time, and we're going to be actually recording our next one of our next podcasts there.
And it's going to be at 7640 North Wickham Road, Suite 108 in Melbourne, Florida. It's in this plaza. You can't really miss it. You'll see the big signs.
Well, we really hope to see you there. It should be a good time. Next show, we're going to be talking about the first DC Rebirth titles. We're going to be discussing the question of how to save comic books. We're going to be talking about the Spider-Man Wave 4 figures and more. We hope to hear from you, so please email us at justusnerdspc. That's justusnerdspc as in podcast at gmail.com. Like us on our Facebook page. You can also listen to us on SoundCloud.
And also YouTube.
Which I always forget.
You always forget the YouTube.
I always forget the YouTube.
All right.
I don't know why. So, that is all the time we have. Whether you hail from Earth or from the planet Rylos, we want to thank you for listening. And until next time, remember that Death Blossom is a weapon of last resort.
Don't make me use it.
Bye-bye and take care.